Tesla has just released their 2022 impact report. In this video, we'll be running through the highlights, of which there are many. If you're a Tesla stock investor in particular, there are some very compelling insights. So get comfortable, grab your AG1 and let's get into it. Oh, and in case you guys haven't heard, some huge news, pun intended, today. Two of the biggest talking heads in the mainstream media, one on the left, Don Lemon of CNN, and one on the right, Tucker Carlson of Fox, both fired on the same day. This could potentially be the single best thing that could have happened for Twitter monetization. Speaking of, I've posted a detailed breakdown video on exactly this subject, available exclusively to my Twitter subscribers. If you're not already subscribed, head over to my Twitter account at @StephenMarkRyan and check it out. And yes, I'm still producing exclusive content at the same cadence over on Patreon. Nothing's changed there either. All right, let's get into it. 2022 Impact Report. Let's read the opening. A sustainable future is within reach. Our mission is to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy. To accomplish this mission, we need to design products that are far superior to their fossil fuel counterparts in every way, source and manufacture them as sustainably as possible, and sell as many of them as we can. Trigger alert. This may not sit well with some of the folks who would prefer Tesla to slow down, sell less vehicles and make more money on them, as opposed to continuing to move and scale at maximum speed and sell through production, irrespective of broader economic conditions and consumers' willingness to buy new vehicles. We believe the best way to do this is by offering an ecosystem of products that comprehensively addresses our world's clean energy generation, storage, and transportation needs. Every vehicle we sell, battery we install, and solar panel we add moves the needle in the direction of a sustainable future. Thank you to the Tesla team, customers, and supporters for bringing us closer to our goal in 2022. And once again, there's been a lot of discussion recently about Tesla cutting prices on their vehicles, potentially sacrificing margins over the short term. I once again am embarrassed to have to point this out, but Tesla's mission is to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy. And part of doing that is to sell as many vehicles as they can. You understand? Their mission is to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy. That means vehicles on roads. A quick look at Master Plan Part 3. This may surprise some folks, but today, only 80% of global energy comes from fossil fuels. 20% already coming from sustainable sources. Now, obviously, there's a long way to go, but would you have guessed that already 20+% of global energy is sustainably generated? In other words, we only need a 5x increase, 5 times, for the world to be essentially 100% sustainably powered. And importantly, a sustainable energy economy requires 50% less total energy. The reason for this is quite simple. There is a huge amount of waste in fossil fuel-based energy sources. They're not particularly efficient. Now, we'll move through this relatively quickly. The document is absolutely fucking gigantic, and this is only the highlights. The original, I think, is about 244 pages, something like that. If you want to pause on any slides, I do encourage it. Let's keep moving. Something that many people are unaware of and will probably find hard to swallow, resisting the urge to make an inappropriate joke here. The transition to sustainable energy will reduce global mining and extraction needs. On the left here, we're looking at current mining extraction. All materials mined, except those for fossil fuel extraction in the light grey, so that's basically all of these bad boys. In the dark grey, that's fossil fuel extraction, and in yellow, sustainable economy materials. Notice on the right, with a fully sustainable economy, the dark grey is gone. There is no fossil fuel extraction. The additional mining required for sustainable economy is all. I think that's a technical term for a lot less. Tesla's also done the numbers here, the math, something many other companies I don't think have done. And this really is a message of hope. The investment required is manageable and achievable. Need just 240 terawatt hours of storage, 30 terawatt hours of renewable power, 0.2% of Earth's land mass required for a combination of solar and or battery storage, half the energy required, a mere $10 trillion manufacturing investment, which I know sounds like a shit ton, but in the scheme of things, this really is a drop in the bucket. It's 10% of 2022 world GDP. And remember, this $10 trillion isn't being spent in a single year. This will probably be spread out over a 15 to 20 plus year period. The message of hope here, there are 0 insurmountable resource challenges despite what many folks seem to think. And here's the 5-step process to shift the world to sustainable energy. 36% by renewably powering the existing grid. 22% by switching the world to electric vehicles. 23% switching to heat pumps. And again, guys, Tesla heat pumps coming soon. You can count on it. 13% for high temperature heat delivery and hydrogen production, and 6% for sustainably fueled planes and boats. The biggest surprise in this entire report, I'm not going to lie, we need only see a 3 times increase in solar and wind deployments from 2022 levels, and we're done. That's it. A tripling. That's all. Just a tripling. And remember, as costs come down on solar and wind, which they are, it becomes even more economically viable. A much bigger jump is a required increase in vehicle, stationary, and thermal battery production, a 29 times increase from 2022 levels. That's massive. And electric vehicle production needs to increase globally by around 11 times. And just remember, guys, per Wright's law, it seems likely that for every doubling in electric vehicle production, we'll see approximately 28% decline in costs. Not on everything, but this is just a ballpark number. The point is, as EV production scales up globally and doubles more than 3 times, costs of EVs will plummet, meaning more people can afford them. This creates an insane feedback loop. We can also see a breakdown on the left here, solar and wind farms, in total 30.4 terawatt hours, and we can see the breakdown here, renewable energy grid, switching to EVs, heat pumps, high temperature thermal, and planes and ships, vehicle and stationary batteries, 240 terawatt hours. Again, you guys can see these, we're going to move on. Point is, this is all absolutely attainable. Now, to the environmental impact. We make products that displace fossil fuel alternatives, something that many people are unaware of, strangely, and importantly, air pollution from burning fossil fuels leads to premature deaths. A lot of people have this idea in their head, fossil fuels are bad for the environment, whatever that means. But air pollution from fossil fuels kills people early. And many of the real estate investors there will be fully aware of this. In many regions globally, homes located close to major highways and roads in particular have what we call air pollution overlays. As in, the air's so fucking bad here, people living here will literally have adverse health effects as a result of living here. This shit is no joke. Pollution from burning fossil fuels leads to 8 million premature deaths globally each year. That accounts for 1 in 5 premature deaths worldwide. As Tesla rightly point out, this is a major advantage of zero-emission products that is often forgotten. Tesla's products are not just about the future of the planet, but also about addressing preventable deaths today. One of my favorite slides in the entire presentation right here. Tesla produced and delivered over 1.3 million electric vehicles globally in 2022. By the way, words matter, and let's check out these words. Although we are focused on our own deliveries, electric vehicle sales by all car makers need to increase. Now make sure you're listening closely here. We hope that every vehicle manufacturer will strive to produce hundreds of thousands of electric vehicles per year. They didn't say millions, they said hundreds of thousands. What does this tell us? Well, 1, Tesla's suggesting the competition should probably have slightly less lofty goals than Tesla themselves. But if we read into this a little bit, just in case you're unaware, many of the world's automotive manufacturers today sell millions of vehicles per year. Why is it that Tesla didn't suggest that they hope every vehicle manufacturer will strive to produce millions of electric vehicles per year? For the record, peak annual vehicle sales from Volkswagen and Toyota each around the 10 and 11 million vehicle per year mark. If we read between the lines here a little bit, I think Tesla's just announced that they adamantly intend on eating the lunch of the world's current largest automotive manufacturers. I love this chart. Electric vehicles produced 2017 up to 2022. Clearly, Tesla out in a league of their own, BYD on their tail, but about 1 year behind in terms of volumes. In 2022, BYD did almost as many, but not quite as many electric vehicles as Tesla did in 2021. Of course, you may see a lot of fake news about BYD counting their internal combustion engine vehicle sales as electric vehicles because people are dumb and they don't understand that an ICE vehicle, internal combustion engine vehicle, with a vibrator-sized battery inside it is not an electric vehicle, it's an internal combustion engine vehicle with a vibrator-sized battery in it. Often, and very deceptively and dishonestly, you see people citing BYD sales, including a bunch of vehicles that have internal combustion engines as if they're electric vehicles and claiming they're outselling Tesla or they're ahead of Tesla. Bro, please. One other note about BYD, very important. Almost 100% of their sales are in China. Now that's all good and well, it's a big automotive market, but in terms of risk, I wouldn't want to be BYD, let's just be honest here. If something happens to the Chinese automotive market, and spoiler alert, something is happening right now, it's fucking imploding, they could be in big fucking trouble. Tesla, on the other hand, sells vehicles globally. Not only that, but they manufacture vehicles on multiple continents and are still building out more production capacity. And in addition, even Tesla's China factory isn't just selling vehicles to Chinese customers, it's their main export hub. Now, I know this is a little bit controversial, but this chart, you flip it upside down, we're probably looking at automotive manufacturers by probability of going bankrupt. Jaguar, number 1, Toyota, second most likely to go bankrupt, GM, third most likely, Ford, fourth most likely, and so on. Just the facts. We can also see a single Tesla vehicle avoids 55 tons of CO2 emissions over its lifetime. If anyone's wondering, 55 tons is about 1.5 times the mass of your girlfriend. I'm just kidding, I know I don't have a girlfriend. In 2022, our customers avoided releasing about 13.4 million metric tons of CO2 into our atmosphere. Again, great breakdown here. We're looking at average life cycle emissions of a Model 3/Y. It's used personally and solar charged versus personal use that's grid charged, 134, versus the average premium ICE vehicle, 467. Again, these are lifetime emissions. Talk about an impact. An important note here. The carbon impact of ICE vehicles remains the same every year of use. The grid keeps getting cleaner while ICE vehicle emissions do not. This is important to understand. A lot of people, electric vehicles, bro, don't you understand? They're charged by shit that's powered by coal. Don't you understand? You're so dumb, bro. Fossil fuels are used to make electricity to charge an electric vehicle. Don't you understand? They're bad for the environment. This argument you do hear from people suffering from SBS, and there is some truth in it, but these people, due to their small brain syndrome, are unaware of the fact that over time, the grid itself is becoming, quote, greener. It's really important to look at the lifetime ownership impact. And now, Tesla's swinging around their gigantic engineering abilities. Greater efficiency than a Prius. Performance of a Porsche. Model Y is the most efficient electric SUV, and this actually really matters. Not only in terms of emissions, but just the cost of ownership. This is something a lot of people don't think about. But when you recharge a Tesla vehicle, you will go further in terms of miles driven on that recharge than any other electric vehicle because they make the most efficient vehicles. What this means is your cost per mile to operate a Tesla vehicle will be less than any other electric vehicle. Now, there'll be caveats here. If you're in the extremely high end of the market, buying a car worth $200,000 that's electric, they might be able to use extremely lightweight components that don't make sense for mass production vehicles. But the point here, this is one of the hidden benefits of owning a Tesla. Efficiency isn't just about better for the environment. It's about cheaper for the consumer to own and operate. There's also a lot of fake news about battery degradation. A lot of people who have smartphones kind of, oh yeah, well, my battery's shit on my phone after a few years. Happens to electric vehicles, right, too. There's barely any meaningful degradation. After 200,000 miles on average, Tesla batteries degrade just 12%, which is fuck all. Most vehicles get scrapped after 200,000 miles driven on average in the US, 150,000 miles in Europe. So by the time you're ready to scrap your vehicle, its battery is still at about 90% of its previous peak capacity when you first bought it. Makes barely any difference. And remember, batteries are getting better over time. Reducing our manufacturing footprint. Producing an electric vehicle requires less water than producing an ICE vehicle. Something also a lot of people are unaware of. And again, less water use, cool, better for the environment, but also from an investor's point of view, they're using less water, it's costing less money to make each vehicle. Now check this out. Water withdrawal intensity in global vehicle manufacturing per cubic meter per vehicle. Tesla's Berlin Gigafactory, currently still ramping up, but once fully ramped, their estimates here, world class, best on earth. BMW, the number 2 spot. Tesla in 2022 globally, 2.57, number 3, and the Gigafactory Texas in the number 4 spot. I mean, Tesla does everything in a world-class manner, even their water usage. And remember, from an investor's point of view, less water, less cost. Product impact. The per mile total cost of ownership for a Model 3 standard range is 49 cents, same vicinity as a Toyota Corolla, which most people have the perception is an extremely economic, great value, low cost to operate vehicle. As many will know, Tesla makes the safest vehicles ever tested, and this is not up for debate. These are the facts, which do not care about your feelings. After all, safety is literally Tesla's number 1 design priority. It's not aesthetics, it's not performance, it's safety first, and everything else follows that. Trigger alert, affordability is key to mass adoption, making EVs affordable. Some strange guy with 3 first names recently said something along the lines of, you can't advertise your way to 20 million vehicles per year. The way you sell 20 million vehicles per year is by enabling people to afford them. Affordability. I want to talk, by the way, about this word demand and the other word, affordability. As Elon Musk has pointed out, demand for Tesla's products is quasi-infinite. However, actionable demand. What do I mean by actionable demand? Well, if a consumer wants something, but they can't act on that want because they can't afford the thing, they still want it, they demand it, but it's not affordable, therefore they can't buy it. Therefore, they can't take action on their desire for the product, their demand. As Tesla lowers the prices of their vehicles, consumers who previously couldn't afford to act on their desire to buy the vehicle can now afford to act and actually buy the vehicle. Demand is not an issue for Tesla. Affordability is the issue. I still cannot believe in 2023 I have to explain this, but explain it I must. Model 3 is the first EV to be priced on par with ICE vehicle equivalents. This is a watershed moment. We can see here Model 3 rear-wheel drive now starts at $39,990 in the US, Audi A4, over 40 grand, BMW 3 Series, nearly 45 grand, same for the Mercedes C-Class. And again, let's read here. The accessibility of our products is fundamental to our mission. Model 3 is the first EV in history priced competitively with its gas-powered equivalents, even before taking into consideration any regional subsidies and lower running costs. Unfortunately, most other EVs on the market today are often priced at over $10,000 premium compared to their direct ICE vehicle equivalents. Even our most affordable Model 3 comes standard with superior equipment and software such as autopilot, over-the-air software updates, 4G connectivity, and, in our view, the best infotainment system on the market. I don't think anyone's going to argue that, bro. Model 3 total cost of ownership per mile is similar to a Toyota Corolla, as we mentioned earlier. This chart sums it up perfectly. Total cost of ownership over 5 years, doing 60,000 miles. Model 3 rear-wheel drive, cost per mile 49 cents, all costs considered. Toyota Corolla 46 cents per mile, almost identical. You can see the breakdown, depreciation, etc., insurance, maintenance, fuel, and so on. Once again, trigger alert, making EVs even more affordable. Our goal is to build and deliver 20 million vehicles a year by 2030. To achieve this goal, we need to run lots of ads to... Oh wait, no, that's not what they said, is it? No, what they actually said is, to achieve this goal, we need to make our products even more accessible. And here I was thinking that they could just spend millions of dollars on advertisements and keep selling them for the same price as they are today. Silly me. Why didn't I think of that? Affordability begins with how much it costs to purchase our vehicles. We were able to reduce the cost to build a single vehicle by almost 50% since 2018, with the introduction of the Model 3 and Model Y, as well as the deployment of new, more efficient factories. And we aren't done yet. During 2023 Investor Day, which many people seem to have forgotten about very quickly, we outlined our goal of reducing that cost by another 50% with the introduction of our next generation platform. In case you have a short memory, we were just looking at Tesla's cost competitiveness versus a Toyota Corolla. What happens when their next generation vehicle is half that cost? Half the cost of a Corolla. Just between you and me, I think they might sell more vehicles. Crazy idea, I know. Our products are designed to be better in every way. You might even say, so good, they sell themselves. We make products that people love. Consumers are unlikely to buy a product just because they have a low lifetime carbon footprint. They need to be better in every way, safer, more affordable, faster, and more fun. We are not just trying to build green products. We are committed to building the best products, period. What a controversial idea. Imagine that. Your strategy is just to build the best products. Why would you do that? I mean, why would you not just make shit products and then spend a lot of money manipulating dumb consumers into buying your shit products like everyone else does? Tesla, hey Tesla, you're doing it wrong. Chargers that just work. I'm sorry, but the fact that, this is a thing is hilarious. For those who don't know, Tesla's supercharging network, near flawless uptime. Look at this stuff. 99 point blah, blah, blah. All of them. Try using an alternative charging network like Electrify My Asshole. Go look at some videos. I swear, every second person that pulls up to one of these chargers can't recharge their fucking vehicle. Good thing Tesla's opening up their supercharging network to third-party consumers. And of course, onto safety. Exceeding safety standards across 4 continents. We can see here, Tesla absolutely cleaning up. Pick your vehicle, pick your continent, whether in Europe, Asia, the US, doesn't matter. 5 stars across the board. It's almost like Tesla actually really do focus on safety first and everything second. Tesla with a slim but meaningful lead over every other automotive manufacturer. We can see all the products coming in on Tesla's tail, but still nothing close. Tesla, Model Y, 92% overall score. Model S, 92%. The next best, 89, 89, 89, and then in the 88s, 87s, and so on. Some more info on Tesla's active safety systems. Again, there's nothing else close. It's almost like software capabilities and a little bit of AI will get you a long way when it comes to active safety features. Safety is enhanced when autopilot is engaged. Number of vehicular accidents per million miles in 2022. Check it out. The average for the vehicle fleet in the US on average total, 1.53 accidents per million miles. The best comp, a Tesla vehicle with no active safety features, about half that amount at 0.68 accidents per million miles. With FSD Beta, apparently the thing that's going to kill your grandchildren according to Mr. Burns himself, Dan O'Dud, 0.31 accidents per million miles. And with autopilot engaged, which is mostly highway miles, so keep that in mind, 0.18 accidents per million miles. So hashtag misogynist, but dear men in the room, given that I'm a raging sexist who hates women, I believe that men and women are different, and I believe that it is a man's responsibility to protect and provide for his family, which includes, if it's economically viable, and if it's not, try and make it happen, putting his family in the safest vehicles on Earth. I mean, you really wouldn't want to be the guy whose family dies in an accident because they weren't driving a Tesla. I'm just saying. And this is fascinating. Tesla is a data company, a software company with a lot of big brain engineers. What we're looking at here, this is real world crash data measured by impact. Frontal impact, rear impact, left and right. So just imagine drawing a little car here, okay? That's kind of what's going on. This is a heat map. The darker color is more frequent impact. Because of this data, Tesla is able to engineer their vehicles, not to game safety tests, which other automotive manufacturers do, but instead to literally just make them as safe as possible based on the data. Where are collisions occurring in the real world? Here's our fleet data. Okay, can we make this safer? We're getting a lot more impacts here, which aren't tested on safety tests, but We want to keep our customers safe, so let's make some adjustments. You won't find any other automotive manufacturer doing this because they don't have the data. Tesla Energy is a one-stop shop. In case you guys are unaware, they're not joking. Tesla has an entire ecosystem of energy products. You've got generation with solar. You've got power walls for home storage. You've also got grid scale batteries. These things work in tandem, plus Tesla's energy software as well. No one else is really in the game. And something that may surprise a few folks, renewables and energy storage are already cost competitive. So it's not like, oh, we better do something good for the environment and pay a shitload more for solar and batteries just because we want to do something good for the environment. It now makes economic sense to use solar and or wind, sustainable energy generation, to store that in batteries versus, for example, even the operational costs of an existing coal plant, never mind building a new one. Check this out. In 2022, in order to meet demand that is well in excess of supply for energy storage products, Tesla completed a new production facility called Megafactory, capable of producing 40,000 megawatt hours of energy storage per year. We also announced another Megafactory in China in early 2023. Watch this space. A few key highlights for Tesla energy products. Zero direct emissions. Unlike fossil fuel peaker plants, battery storage has zero direct emissions. We've also got a bunch of built-in safety features. There's 24/7 monitoring with early detection, diagnosis, and troubleshooting. So again, this is software-driven products. They also exceed safety standards, Tesla holding themselves to much higher standards than regulators would. There's also proactive fire control and, of course, best-in-class performance. After all, it is Tesla. What else do you expect? There's also a less than 0.001% failure rate. Just for comparison's sake, the failure rate on marriages today is a little bit over 50%, just for context. People and culture. 3.6 million applicants last year, around 128,000 employees. 9.4-year median tenure of senior management, despite all the fake news you hear. And 71% internal leadership promotions versus bringing people in from other companies. Shout out to Tesla's employees, by the way. You guys and girls are really doing meaningful and important work. We appreciate you. Last year, Tesla grew by 29,000 employees. And remember, they've still got 2 massive new factories ramping up. This headcount will increase significantly over time. Check this out. 2010, the year in which Tesla IPO'd, less than 1,000 employees. By 2014, they'd seen more than 10x, over 10,000. Then in 2021, another 10x to around 100,000. 2022, getting close to 130,000 employees. And of course, another of the extremely important slides in this presentation, when graduating engineering students are surveyed year after year after year, guess who they want to work for? Elon fucking Musk. And what are their options? SpaceX and Tesla. SpaceX and Tesla, year after year, jostle for the number 1 and number 2 highest priority destination, the employers, the companies where engineering students most want to work. This means that Tesla literally has their pick of the bunch. Imagine you're Ford, General Motors, or Toyota, or maybe BMW. If you're one of the world's best and most talented engineers, you probably want to work for one of the world's best and most talented engineers, surrounded by the world's best and most talented engineers, but more importantly than that, in a company whose culture will allow great engineering, great ideas to shine and get them out into the world in record time. At Tesla and SpaceX, if you're an engineer and you have a good idea, it will be implemented. That is not so, unfortunately, for many of the other companies here. The truth is, there are exceptions, but the truth is the majority of engineers who really care about their engineering more than anything else and having an impact in the real world are chomping at the bit to work for Elon at either SpaceX or Tesla. Companies like General Motors, Toyota, Ford, BMW, they end up with the leftovers. These are just the facts. And again, 3.6 million job applications in 2022. That's a lot of people who want to work for Tesla. By the way, Tesla, can you guys stop reporting this shit? Seriously? Why? We don't care about their racial backgrounds. We don't give a fuck. Stop. Compiling this data was a waste of Tesla's time, energy, and resources. Who cares? Oh, that's right. The woke mob. This is completely irrelevant. Of course, what Tesla is trying to convey here is that if you're competent, you will be hired without any discrimination. But I just can't believe this is a fucking thing. Seriously. Stop dividing and labeling, okay? We're all humans. And now onto supply chain. Tesla has over 800 suppliers engaged in responsible sourcing. Again, an EV's lifetime CO2 emissions is less than a comparable ICE vehicle by a significant margin. Again, this is lifetime use, including the vehicle supply chain, the supply chain that actually got the vehicle together, the battery supply chain, and the use phase. Again, when you hear any of the dingbats making absurd statements that EVs are worse for the environment because... just send them this slide, assuming they have enough intellectual capacity to comprehend what you've sent them. Regarding some of the materials going into batteries, in 2021 and 2022, more than 95% of Tesla's lithium hydroxide was directly sourced. Nickel in 2021 was over 30% and in 2022 over 45%. Obviously, you can notice a trend, right? Cobalt, 2021, over 50%, 2022, over 55%. If you guys want to nerd it out, the breakdown of different materials and the CO2 impact per kilogram, lithium, nickel, cobalt, depending on whether looking at chemical processing, extraction, upgrading, transportation, pause the video. So I think it's safe to say Tesla's 2022 impact report, full of data and facts, clearly demonstrates that Tesla is having a significant positive impact on the world, and they're just getting started. Meanwhile, in my own small way, I'm doing my best to also have a positive impact on the world. Can't get through to everybody, but for those of you with an open mind, you got to check out Athletic Greens AG1, which I've personally been taking now for more than 2 years, and I absolutely swear by it. As I mentioned yesterday, if you hate your life, you eat like trash, you don't exercise, you don't give a shit, you don't get enough sleep, you got bigger fish to fry, don't bother. If, on the other hand, you do value feeling and performing your best, and you're not taking Athletic Greens AG1, I think you're missing a trick. Hence, I'm doing my best to try and have a positive impact. I'm always looking for ways to feel and perform my best, and AG1, no doubt, is the best bang for buck. It's not the only thing I do, but in terms of the return on investment, there's nothing that comes close. It's packed full of 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, and whole food source nutrients, plus digestive enzymes, prebiotics, probiotics, and adaptogens to help you deal with stress. Plus, if you head to athleticgreens.com/SMR or click the link in the pinned comment, you get yourself a 1-year free supply of vitamin D3 and K2 plus 5 travel packs. Try it for a month, and if you don't get the results you're looking for, just get your money back. After all, that's why the money back guarantee exists. What do you got to lose? You don't have to take my word for it. Check out these recent testimonials from viewers of the channel. After nearly 1 month on AG1, I'm less sleepy, have more power until late evening, more attention without being edgy. It's life-changing, positive. This particular viewer is suggesting they feel like they're in their 20s. They're currently 38 years old. I've had a similar experience myself. No kidding, I feel like I'm 20 years old again. And I'm almost the same age as this viewer. After 4 months of using AG1, I have only one problem. I want more. I like bigger scoops and would run low before the next pouch would show up. So today I made a double order. Love your content. Thank you. You're welcome. Yet another newly discovered benefit of AG1 is my golf game. Finally got out here on a golf course. Don't want to reveal too much personal information. Golf is primarily a test of mental strength and positive thinking and focus. AG1 seemed to have amplified all of these, as well as my body feeling loose, less sore, and less aches in the joints after play. Amazing. A lot of people sharing similar results. It's almost as if you give your body everything it needs to feel and perform its best, which includes recovering from exercise and physical exertion. You get results like these. Been using AG1 for 2 months now. I'm 22 years old. I've certainly gained a substantial boost in energy that helps me get more done throughout the day. Before AG1, I used to work 4 hours in the morning and 2 hours in the afternoon before noticing a substantial drop in performance. Now I'm able to squeeze out 8 to 10 hours a day of high performance work. So in short, AG1 made me 40% better. Decided to buy AG1 a few months back. I have more instances where I just feel generally happy, positive, for no reason. Many other viewers have similar experiences, by the way. Again, if you're giving your body what it needs for optimal performance, it can have a very positive effect on your mood. I don't have anxiety or depression, but I usually get these random spurts of joy on particularly good days, or when things in life just feel right. I was surprised AG1 has made this happen more often. I also had an instance where an AG1 pouch was punctured during shipment. Contacted support chat, and within 5 minutes they said they would send a replacement. No questions, no hassles. The replacement arrived within 4 days. After 3.5 weeks or so on AG1, it accomplished what I hoped it would by getting rid of a very nasty head and sinus cold, and yes, seemed to give me more energy and a little brighter outlook on life. And finally, AG1 Day 60 update. It makes me feel slightly better 100% of the time. Well said. So what are you waiting for? Head to athleticgreens.com/SMR or click the link in the pinned comment. Start your daily health habit now. Try it for a month, see how you feel. What's the worst that could happen? You only feel slightly better 100% of the time. And just quickly, on a personal anecdote, I find it very amusing, but there still remain people with crippling trust issues, just insanely skeptical, reading these testimonials in the comments. Are you a bot? Thinking that the testimonials in the comments here from you guys and girls are fake? You can't make this shit up. I guess you can't fix stupid, and some people have such incredible trust issues, they just can't believe it. But these are testimonials. I'm not writing these myself. I'm not paying people to write these. These are legitimate testimonials from viewers of the channel who've clicked the link, tried AG1, and they're sharing their results. Of course, there are some people who say, I don't feel any difference whatsoever. Good thing they've got a money back guarantee. I am trying to find the common thread with these folks though. I don't have enough data yet. There's only been a few of them. I'm just trying to understand. Are these people whose health is just absolute trash? Are they on death's doorstep? Are they 95 years old? Still can't put my finger on it yet, but they are the vast minority. So what are you waiting for? Head to athleticgreens.com/SMR or click the link in the pinned comment. Start your daily health habit now and let me know how you are feeling in a few weeks' time. And now I feel, excuse me, time to use some of that extra energy that I'm personally experiencing from AG1 to create some more exclusive content for both my Twitter subscribers and my Patreon supporters. If you're not on both, you're really missing out. So see you over on Twitter and or Patreon. Love ya.